Well, hey everybody, it's me, Mitch, again. This is going to be part 3 of the little sous vide chuck roast adventure. We've made the crispy little chuck cubes. We've made some fantastic beef soup, which I ate with pork rinds, acting as croutons. And now I'm going to do the third and final piece of that chuck, and I'm talking about the 2 slices that I made, which I'm going to cook like I would cook a steak after sous videing it. But I can't actually sear this just like it is right now because it's cold, and in order to cook it in a frying pan long enough to heat up the inside to the 128 degrees that the sous vide would be at, I'm going to have to re-sous vide these things. So I'm going to just put these 2 pieces, and I've got the sous vide running over here, and I am making myself a steak for dinner, but I'm going to make these 2. And if I don't eat it all tonight, I'll eat them left over tomorrow, but I do want to cook them. So we'll take this over to the vacuum sealer. We will turn it on. And set the bag size, it is set to medium. We'll lay this in here. Put the bag under the clip. Stretch it out so it seals, and vacuum seal it and put it in the sous vide. And there it is. It is vacuum sealed. Let's grab it out of the vacuum sealer. Shut the vacuum sealer off. And there we have it. And let's put this in to the sous vide bath right here. And as soon as counts down to 2 hours for what was a raw steak in there, this thing will be heated up again to 128 degrees, and then we'll sear it off in my carbon steel pan. I'm wearing my Old Guy Carnivore Food Pyramid t-shirt. So just a little plug for my t-shirts. These things are available on my website, and I think below the video in YouTube they show up. So if you can't live another day without one of these, don't say I didn't tell you where to get one. So we'll be back. Time to sear these things off. And so far we're batting 2 out of 3 on the chuck steak. Let's hope we can make it 3 out of 3, and that this comes out to be just another good way to enjoy what is probably one of the least expensive cuts of beef that we can buy. The sous vide on the raw steak, it's got an hour to go, but the chuck's been in there for an hour, and I'm sure it's up to temperature, 130 degrees. Going to get some butter. And let the pan heat up. We will get our 2 little chuck steaks out of the sous vide bath. And as usual, before you sear any meat in a hot skillet, you want to dry it off thoroughly. Blot it with some paper towels. So we'll get some paper towels over here and open the Sous Vide bag. Again, these were salted before they were cooked originally, and as true to form, they are falling apart a little bit, which is good. That means they're nice and tender, but they're not so tender as to be shredded up like they would if they slow cooked all day. So there we have our 2 chuck steaks. Blot them off real good. Our pan is heating up. Turn the range hood on. Sorry about the noise. And we want to sear these things for a minute to a minute and a half on a side. So, we'll put them in the pan. And let them sear for a minute. And while they're searing, let me just remind everybody, and I know this is a shameless plug, but I got to do it. All the kitchen gadgets that I'm using, the sous vide machine, the vacuum sealer, air, everything that I use in executing a carnivore diet, there's links to that on my website at oldguycarnivore.com. And there's a page that says links to stuff I use. Now, that WeVac vacuum sealer, which I just got, that link will take you right to their website, where if you use the coupon code OLDGUY, one word, OLDGUY, you get 15% off of everything they sell, including the model that I have, the CV12, a smaller, less expensive model, CV10, or even the supplies and their vacuum sealer bags. They're great. They come in big boxes, and you can get discount on those too. So, oldguycarnivore.com, links to stuff I use. You can get my shirts there. You can get everything I got. There's the end of my little commercial. So we'll let this sear itself off. And hopefully, this will come out as good as the last 2 dishes that I created from this one hunk of chuck roast. And we will put it over here and we'll taste it and see how it is. So let's see how these look. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Doesn't that look great? Oh, wow. God, if it tastes as good as it looks, we're in for a treat here. And then I'll just leave the skillet here. I'll turn the burner off, and I won't record that in the video, but I will come back and sear off the steak that's still in the sous vide. Cooking at 128 degrees for 2 hours. Okay, I could turn the heat off of that now. It really doesn't make much of a mess. It's really pretty quick. Again, there's no effort. And I've learned in cooking, the length of time it might take to something, for something like in a slow cooker or in a sous vide, is not work. Let time, unattended time, do most of the work for you. And this dish is just like that. This is something that if I had taken this chuck initially right out of the initial sous vide, cut it into these steaks, then I could sear them directly without having to reheat it again. But the sous vide is good for that too. If you have something you put in the refrigerator, some leftovers, you can use the sous vide to reheat it up without worrying about ever overcooking it. So let's take a look at this. That is done. We'll plate them. I will pour this butter over the top. Oh, doesn't that look good? And the moment of truth is coming. Just a small amount of splatter. Turn off the fan. And we'll come around here and taste this and see how well it came out. So, here we go. Let's try this. It's delicious. It's wonderful. It's very tender. It was cooked to a medium temperature initially to help tenderize it. That's why I put it at 155 degrees. You could probably do it anywhere between 145 and 155 and get it really tender like this is. Or if you want it more rare like a steak, you could cook it as long as you do at least 36 hours at the 130 degrees or 128 degrees. Then you'll have a little more rare meat inside. But I don't think it'd be as tender as this. And this is very flavorful. I don't want to pat myself on the back or anything, but this is absolutely delicious. So from an unknown to 3, what I consider great meals from one hunk of chuck roast, which is, again, one of the most inexpensive cuts of meat that you can get. Any carnivore should be tickled to death to have these things on a regular basis. Save a lot of money. It's not a lot of work. And these things are delicious. So with that, I am going to eat all of this. I may not eat the steak that's in the sous vide now. I may just put it in the refrigerator and have it tomorrow. I might not even open the bag because I think this is going to be enough for a meal for me. This is a good pound of chuck steak here. So I'm going to finish my dinner. You guys can take the rest of the day off and eat meat.